From the Warhammer Imperium magazine, collected short stories narrated by J.H. Miniatures. At the request of Inquisitor Draxos. March of the Machines. Thought of the day. We are all but a weapon in the right hand of the Emperor. In the Pariah Nexus, many worlds have been scoured of life by Necrons. Deep in the ruins of an Imperial Forge world, the armies of the Adeptus Mechanicus attempt to recover valuable weapons, technology and equipment before it is discovered and destroyed by the Necron foe. Rank upon rank of robed Skitarii soldiers strode forwards through the silent depths of Forge World Garadar, the metallic clank of their feet shattering the eerie silence. Sunlight broke through the soaring, Gothic towers of silent Imperial factorums. Occasionally a servo skull emerged from an overhead service hatch, rushing to complete a task assigned to it by a long-dead overseer. In the wake of the Skitarii legions, a towering Imperial knight plodded purposefully through the abandoned streets, weapon systems and analytical devices whirring as it turned from side to side, scanning the shadows for unseen foes. Tech priest Dominus Mateus observed the procession from the rear, his bionic eyes clicking as he pored over Auspex scans and blueprints of the abandoned city. Ahead lay the prize they sought, the remains of an Adeptus Mechanicus storage facility. Within the husk of that once bustling facility lay a full shipment of precious Promethean fuel. The Necrons appeared to have left the Factorum district intact, but soon their matter-devouring scarab swarms would descend upon the structure. Matthias and his maniple of heavily armed Skitarii had been dispatched to seize and extract as much of the valuable fuel as they could carry. The Skitarii procession were less than 100 metres from the facility before its vast facade loomed out of the hazy, smog-thick air. The building's soaring towers displayed the familiar cog icon of the Adeptus Mechanicus. As soon as the Factorum came into view, Mateus's Auspex scanner burst to life, emitting a static click. His bionic eyes snapped to the device's readout. Red warning runes flashed upon its green display screen, warning of a colossal buildup of energy. Before Mateus could issue an order to halt, the doors of the Factorum exploded outwards and the walls of the structure began to crumble. A raging torrent of liquid fire spilled forth, engulfing 2 full ranks of Skitarii warriors. Mateus shielded his eyes against the blast, ducking as chunks of masonry rained down amongst his forces. As the scattered Skitarii dove for cover, fields of flickering green lightning rippled through their ranks, and the shining, metallic bodies of Necron assailants silhouetted against the fiery light. Matthias seethed. He had been drawn into a trap, an entire shipment of precious Promethean taken in one fell swoop. The Adeptus Mechanicus' wrath would be swift and brutal. The Xenos would suffer their impertinence. Defense pattern Theta Orion. Sensors active. Prepare to repel attackers. He croaked into his Vox unit before turning to the lumbering Imperial Knight. Knight Scion Sabara. Weapons free. Repel the Xenos. He hissed. The noble pilot of the gigantic walker issued no verbal response, but simply began pouring fire into the advancing Necrons, paying little heed to the unfortunate Skitarii in her line of fire. Skitarii and Necron alike fell under the onslaught, but even as the dust cloud of explosions and bullets cleared, several of the stricken Necrons began to rise from the scorched earth, their bodies knitting back together by some manner of profane Xenos technology. As the Knight's fire held the Necrons back, Skitarii warriors began to reorganize themselves, glowing fusillades of radium carbine fire slowing the Necron advance. Matthias pressed through the crowd, forcing his way to the front line. His body was more machine than flesh. Decades of augmentation and experimentation had provided him with a metallic carapace and a series of snake-like bionic appendages that bristled with guns and razor-sharp tools. As he pressed towards the thick of the fighting, these weapons discharged themselves at nearby foes, annihilating skeletal Necrons in blasts of blinding plasma energy. Ahead, amidst the advancing aliens, a figure caught Matthias's eye, a cloaked Necron with a glowing green staff clasped in its right hand. It flew over the heads of its kin, borne aloft by an obsidian spider. As Matthias gazed upon the resplendent living metal form of his enemy, intense hatred consumed what remained of his organic heart, accompanied by a burning pang of envy. Here was a foe, unburdened by flesh. Tightening his grasp on his omniscient axe, he ordered his depleted Skitarii forward. He would exact a terrible vengeance. These mechanical humans appear resistant to the effects of the contra-empiric matrix. Rather than collapsing to the dirt, as do soldiers of flesh, they continue to fight. Still, their crude technology is no match for the might of the Zarakan. Our legions shall break their metallic forms apart and hurl them back into the stars. Zanak, Cryptek Technomancer. And there you go. That is the fifth story now in the series. The last of the short stories, at least. I mean, with the amount that are here, some of them are going to be short stories regardless. But the next one, Crimson Doom, that's when we actually get into the multi-page stories. And yeah, it's just more of the same, isn't it? It's more of the, and here's a faction, and now they're going to attack something, or they're being attacked by something. I thought it was a bit funny that the name of the tech priest Dominus is Matthias, Mateos, Matthias. I've actually got a Polish friend called Matthias, so he's probably going to get a kick out of watching this. But yeah, no, that's an all right story. Not the best. I think out of the five I've read so far, I think that's one of the weaker ones. If only just for the fact that it's, well, not much happens really, isn't it? They walk down the street, they get ambushed, and then they start attacking. But I don't know. It's only 2 pages. It's not massively long, so it is what it is. Anyway, thank you for watching, boys and girls, and I will see you in the next story.